All right, so these wheels are in terrible, terrible shape. Get you a little close up. You can see the clear coat's gone, the paint's gone, massive oxidation of the aluminum or whatever this stuff is. So it is really bad. But the good news is they're not dented. They don't seem to be too beat up. So I am giving it a shot at refinishing them. The tires are no good. But I've already done one as a little test to see how to go. So this is one back wheel that I just pulled off. And here is a completed one. This looked just as bad, if not worse, before I got started. And it turned out terrific. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but terrific. So this is what I'm going to be working on today. 2 front tires, not as bad. There's the front tires. The front tires not as bad. The finish is bad, so I take the finish off, but at least they're not corroded. They're just the finish is all screwed up. So I'm going to be getting these cleaned up and refinished. All right, first step to getting these 3 tires done, or 3 wheels done, is power washing them, getting them cleaned up so that then I can figure out what I got to sand off. Most likely I should be able to blow off a lot of this crap on this tire, and we'll go from there. All right, just so you can see how easily this stuff comes off. Start shooting it, everyone just peels right off. All right, so they're all power washed off. It got most of the paint off, or the finish off this thing, and certainly the dirt and stuff. So these ones, mostly just cleaned them up. Not too much to do. But now the next step is paint remover. So you just need a bucket and a little brush. Brush this on, you let it sit for about 15 minutes and wash it off. That other wheel I had to do a couple coats in order to get it all off. A little bit of scraping here and there just to get it once it got soft. But this stuff works pretty good. Trick is you only brush in one direction apparently. Keep it nice and heavy and thick on there. And I did dry them off a little bit ahead of time since you don't want to water down your remover. So all right, so this has got the stuff on. It's been sitting for a few minutes, and now you can see how all the finish starts coming off. All right, so one thing to keep in mind is you should wear rubber gloves. This stuff is pretty strong. I just had to switch gloves. I got a little drop of it on my pinky. It ate right through this glove. So you do want to wear gloves. Just about there. Start at this last one. Just finish this one, and we'll be done. Stuff is eaten through pretty good. Once we get done with this, then we'll move on to sanding down all this oxidation. Now for me, I found that because, well, my wheels are so bad, that Dremel worked really well for cleaning up the oxidation and smoothing things out. All right, so finished sanding it up. That's what's left of my bit. So it gets a little chewed up, obviously. Getting all that crud off of there, but knocked most of the oxidation off, smoothed up the edges a little bit, and now I'll power wash it off, get it cleaned up, dusted up, and then go to some hand sanding. All right, so prep work is everything when it comes to a finish. So I power washed off all the dust from the Dremel, and got that all wet, washed off. Then came back with some what is this, like 400 grit, I think. It doesn't say, but I think it's 400 grit wet dry, and just started hitting it with the wet dry and smoothing it all out. You do want to get a good finish. All this had on it was the clear coat, so you got to sand that down to get a nice roughed up finish for the paint to grip to, but this gets it all smoothed out, and we'll power wash it and I'll check it again. So now I've got them all prepped and wiped down, and I'm letting them dry. So I'll let them dry out in here. It's a little humid, so it'll take a few minutes, and while that's going on, I'll clean the center hubs and get a couple of other things done, and then we'll come back and we'll get started. All right, so these are the paints I'm going to be using. This is the Magic stuff. Primer, filler, and sandable. The The filler really is nice and thick, so it fills in any little scratches or things. Duplicolor wheel paint. It's kind of this, I don't know, in between gray color, and then a clear coat over the top. All right, so I'm done 3 coats of primer, 2 light and 1 kind of medium heavy-ish one. Got a fan going to keep the air moving since it's a little humid today. You know, they're not perfect. Some of the feathering of the pieces that came out just wasn't that great, but I'm not going to go back and do it. So, but that one is looking really good. That's the rear one. That one's looking really good. So now I'm on to doing the finish coats. All right, so the paint's on, and they're looking pretty good. Probably some spots I could have sanded a little better, smoothed out a little better, but in general they're looking terrific. And I will say one can is doing all 4 tires just about perfect. There's a little bit left in each can, but it turned out pretty good. 3 coats on every wheel, 2 light and 1 medium. And now I'm going to put some clear coat on to finish it off. All right, so they're all done. They turned out pretty dang good. There's certainly some little issues that still show through a little bit, but in general, they are dramatically better than they were.